Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 62. Today we will be playing Discard Midrange. And so we are finishing up our practice for seasonals. And with that note in mind, if you're watching this video as it comes out, just go ahead and turn it off and run yourself over to Twitch. The seasonals coverage should be live or pretty soon after this video goes live. So you, you have a little bit of time before this video comes out and the coverage starts. But if you're wanting there to be coverage for esports events, if you want to have an esports scene, a competitive scene, however you want to look at it, you have to do your part. And Riot has canceled the coverage in the past. They brought it back for whatever reason for this event. And if you want to have these nice things in the future, you have to do your part to show Riot that you care and that you want it. And so, at least turn on the Twitch stream in the background, mute it if you want. You can keep watching my video. I don't give a shit how you do it. But, you do have to give them a little bit of love and support if you want to have nice things. And so, with that being said, again, we are continuing our preparations for seasonals. If you're not current with the channel, the idea of what we're doing is we want to have decks that are good against Pantheon, and we want to have decks that are good against Talia Ziggs. Those are the two matchups that we're looking to face quite frequently and have a good time against. And so that has brought us into the lineup of playing Pirates. We're playing Yordles in Arms. We've touched on both of those decks a few times over the past week. And then this discard deck, whatever you like to call it, Draven Sion, discard Draven, Draven midrange discard. I don't care. Whatever you want to call it, it works for me. But that is what our last deck is. We touched on this a bit earlier in the week as well. We were playing a more value-oriented package. We were playing Captain Farron's. We were playing a copy of Rummage. And I feel like the way that the meta has kind of shaken up and the way that we're looking to kind of interact with it, those concepts are just too slow. Those are the kind of things that you're wanting if you're playing against a lot of like Udyr Dravens and a lot of elites and decks that are just putting stats on the board. If you're playing against Jarvan, then that's the kind of cards that you want to have in those situations. To where we're coming down and making a lot of trades, and a lot of the games comes down to who just has the last card on the board. But what we're kind of expecting to see. I expect against Yuumi Pantheon and those we just don't have time to play Captain Farron against the decks that I suspect we'll see a lot with like a burn lineup with Pirates and Elisas and Darius Nars and Nars Ziggs and the likes. We just don't have the time. And in the other matchups, like the more control decky kind of matchups, it's just too awkward to play like a Captain Farron and have him get vengeanced. And so we've looked to push ourselves a little bit more into the aggressive end of the spectrum by adding burn spells in here. And so a lot of the lists are playing the full package of 3 Nox and Fervors, 3 Decimates. I feel like that's just a little bit too much. You run into too many draws as to where your hand does like, oh, cool, I have a Boom Baboon and 3 burn spells. But I am kind of willing to add these into the deck, given that we play so much cycle. And so if it's in the early game, we've drawn a Decimate in our opening hand, we can always cycle it away with a Zonite Urchin or a what you call it, a Sump Dredger. And so I feel kind of okay with those in a deck like this, as to where, say in our Yordles and Arms decks, we're just playing Mystic Shots and get excited. So we aren't looking to play the additional burn like Pokey Sticks or Electrostatic Bolts or whatever. And so I think they do have a place here. And then the ideas we have in this that you don't always see across these Draven Sion deck lists, we're playing the full 3 Lost Souls, the full 3 Sump Dredgers. I think that's A-okay here. That's enough value package for me. We're playing 2 Pharaoh's Fanciers. I really love having access to this unit, whether or not it's because we have a draw that wasn't able to put a 2-drop on the board. If it's where, say, like turn 3, and we played a 2-drop on 2, a 2-drop on 3, and then one a Mystic Shot, he allows those kind of plays as well. And then there's just a great suite of expensive spells to pick up between both Noxus and P and Z, whether or not it's picking up something like a Shock Blast or a True Shot Barrage for burn. There's Progress Day to draw our own burn. There's Weapons of the Lost and the thing that generates Legion Marauders to just get dudes on the board. A little bit of high quality spells all across the board. And so I'm pretty happy with the Pharaoh's Fancier. And then, of course, we're playing the Stun Spider. You saw this in our previous iteration of this deck. You saw it in our Pirates deck. If we're playing under the concept that we want to play against a whole bunch of Pantheon, then this guy works out fantastically, right? You could look to play Thorn of the Rose, but I think the Arachnoid Sentry is just a little bit safer in that it just doesn't die to Pokestick and that it's also a mana cheaper. But the Sentry is just so strong against the Pantheon decks that they've just played one unit and played a Zenith Blade on it and played a couple of boosting spells on it. Just getting the big shutdown with the stun is quite pivotal. And then a little bit slower against something like Talia Ziggs, but if you get a big shutdown on a Talia, if you get to shut down the Arsenal, then the Arachnoid Sentry really pays off quite a bit. And so those are, the differences we're bringing. And so for the previous list, I think the difference there, again, we took out the Rummage, we took out the Captain Farron's. I can't remember what the last one of we took out was, but that's where we're at and what we're doing. And I'm pretty happy with this list. And so with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump on in. I checked our list. The pay to win price has been paid. The Lost Soul is the only card that hasn't been turned premium. So we're doing okay there. Let's do it. Let's jump into battle. Our last set of games before Seasonals is upon us. So pretty exciting. It's good stuff. For me, I don't expect to have the most success with Seasonals, but I feel like we're good enough to where if we're running hot and we don't play terribly and we catch a decent run of things, we can make a dent. We can make a serious run. That's the way I've always felt about this. I kind of equate it to playing Grand Prix and Magic, as to where, I've made a run at top 8s a few times. I never got quite to the glory. I've gotten to the top 16, but I never made the top 8 showing. But I was never like that big, consistent Pro Tour caliber player. But if I was playing good to the level that I can play, along with not running terribly, we could make a good run. All right, pretty horrible start. This is not what we're looking to do. We had a big burn opener, which is okay against Zed. We maybe should have hung on to a Mystic Shot, but just having that triple burn start is pretty terrible. I wanted to find some units, and we weren't successful to that end. We can still reasonably manage a Zed. We have the stuns and the burn spells and such, but the start's pretty poopy. Not gonna lie. Really don't like having to drop these small fallen riders against the deck playing Katarina. But is what it is, as they say. We gotta make the best of the hand we're dealt. Maybe we'll be able to catch up a little bit. He's going to want to play a Zed here. We would have to take 4 on this turn, but we could drop the Get Excited on him and then pick up a Lost Soul. Not terrible. I mean, I could even see an argument for just playing the Sentry now, but I think we might get good usage out of the Sentry a little bit in the future, as he's having to play units for the Greenglade duo. Or, excuse me, if it's just a matter of stunning a Katarina, right? If we can stop a Katarina flip with a stun off Arachnoid Sentry, lots of good uses out of him, even though this isn't the kind of intended matchup that we were expecting him in. All right, well, we have to get excited something. We could, I guess, technically play the stun, but I want to have the cheaper version of the Lost Soul for our next turn. Taking 3. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of the Shadow Apprentice. He was stealth updated in the 3.6 patch. They forgot to mention him in the patch notes, to where he has this: when you summon an ephemeral ally, give me 1/0. People have tried to fit him into the tokens decks, since he works with the Emperor's Diaz and the likes, but hasn't really made an impact. And this is fine. Really happy to see this guy making value plays. Sure. Works for me. It just gets a ton of his aggression off of the board. Okay, I want to be able to play a Nox and Fervor this turn. He shouldn't be able to do anything too scary, though. It's like, do we want to just play the Sump Dredger and discard the Lost Soul? Not real interested in Draven, although the upside with Draven is we can skip over the Nox and Fervor and then still just play a Fancier. Maybe that's where we go with this turn. If we're going to go like that, though, let's lead with the Fancier. Since he's going to be the one we want to target with the Nox and Fervor. Okay, he just comes in for 4. That's okay. So let's switch to Draven. Sure. Getting all the values. Is there a world where he like blocks this stuff? Does he ever win the game if he blocks? I mean, we're so close to burning him out. We have 8 burn in hand. I think we could probably deploy 1 unit. It's like the perk of adding Sump Dredger is that we can also we could also play a Stun Spider this turn if we want. So it's if he drops a Katarina on us, we can do something interesting there. Nice pickup with Sion. I don't intend on casting him this game, but if he tries to block our big unit in the Sump Dredger, we can get a nice Overwhelm discard. Okay, I'm on board. I'm curious what if they're playing in terms of counter spells. If they're playing Nopifies, if they're playing Denies. Can't remember. This wasn't like the. We got boomed by some dumb deck in the previous video where they're playing. Oh, what was that? It was with the support unit that makes the ephemeral. I don't think that's what they're running into here, but this does feel very much like a combo deck. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Nopify come out of this thing. But again, I think this is okay, right? If he says, okay, I'm going to come block your biggest unit to prevent some damage, then the Sion discard gets us quite a bit of extra punch in. Yeah, block something, my dude.
You call that sneaky?
We lethal through this if he doesn't block 2.
Don't want any trouble.
Okay. Still bringing the heat. Sure. Interesting target. I guess if he put it on the Conspirator, his unit would still just die. And Elixir of Wrath. Wow, he's pretty heavily in here. Could have put the Axe on Draven. I guess that would have been a little bit better. The discard would have still gone onto the Sump Dredger because he's our strongest unit. And then we would have gotten an Axe hit in with Draven. But I think we'll be okay. Everything's gonna be fine, I tell you. Such a pool party, Draven. Good. Making a little duck face, showing off the cannons. Dude's huge. He's certainly spent some time in the gym. Okay, let's just start going for it. If we get like super involved in this, like if he plays a Deny, we can follow up with another one. If he has 2 cards or something, we can still just Mystic Shot Zed. And we're in a great space. Right, so say he has another Nopify to stop us from getting the kill. We just get to Mystic Shot Zed with all that on the stack. Then his board still sucks, you know. This board is definitely not good. But GG. Good game, my dude. Mark it a 1-0. Moving on up. Oh, right. On to the next one. Then one bit of strategy I did want to touch on. It's not even card related, but if you're playing in seasonals, you play Magic and you go to PTQs or whatever they're doing. You go to Grand Prix if you are a chess player, whatever. If you're going to one of these big kind of all-day events, it's very important to here against the Sun Disc. We'll keep the cannon. I like to have one drops, and then we'll search for other stuff. But it's very important to take care of yourself in terms of drinking water and eating food. It's very easy to get to like round 4 or round 5 in an event and be like, oh, cool, I haven't drank any water or ate anything since breakfast. And so whenever I was really grinding the grind pre-circuit, I would always I always just had water bottles. That's the easy one to pull off. And then I brought like granola bars or trail mix or something like that, something that you could just like snack on. Since there's a pretty good chance like your food options were like chicken nuggets or pizza. You know, the a lot of the convention centers weren't really well known for being bastions of healthy food. And then the I even remember there was like some like magic events, especially in like the PTQ realm of things, to where it wouldn't be in a convention center, it would be in like a hotel ballroom or something. And in large part, a lot of those events just wouldn't have food whatsoever. And so it was always just, super, super important to, make sure you at least bring something. If eating, 11 granola bars on the day is what it takes, then, that's better than the flip side, which is just not having any food all day. And so it's a little bit easier in the online spectrum. You can, go run down to the kitchen and get a snack or whatever. You can eat while you play, do whatever you want to do. But if you're playing in person, especially now that Star City's getting ramped back up, the likes of I saw the Dream Hacks have Magic tournaments attached to them. There's lots of ways for you to get out there and get into gaming. But the food source might not be something that you thought of and you didn't take care of. The other thing's take a fucking shower. Nobody wants to smell your stanky ass ball stink. It's pretty easy to pull off. You just get in the thing and you run water on yourself. You can even use some soap. It gets that ass sweat out of the crevices and stuff. Everybody doesn't want to smell your stink ass all through the event, so take care of that one too while you're at it. It seems like it should be logical, but it's something that has to be said. Stink ass. But all right, on to the action here. This is like getting a little rough. We need to get like all of our hand down on the board this turn and then try and close out the game with Sion. I think we're good to get rid of this Mystic Shot here. And so it's like I'm going to lead with the assembly line. He doesn't have anything on board right now to stop us from doing this or make us not want to do this. So we'll get both of the dudes down. Probably going to play the Zonite Urchin this turn, but just depends on what opponent's up to. And then the idea is we're going to try and close this game out with a Sion attack on our turn 7, and then a Burn Suite on turn 8 to finish off whatever we need. You have to be a little worrisome against the Sun Disc. They can Quicksand our Sion. They can Rite of Negation our burn spells. We haven't done too much damage in terms of where this game is, but that's what we're on the lookout for here. Dude's thinking if he wants to Rite of Negation our thing, which is fine. He went Mana Crystal, which is that's pretty decent for us. We're probably not going to get any ground-based damage in now, but yeah, we're just not going to play units here. Like we can we can play the Sion a bit from now. It's kind of sketchy as to whether or not he's even going to do anything. He's pretty far away from flipping, and so we'll have to wait and see if we draw a unit that'll let us get some discard powers going. Not ideal with the Zerath coming down. It's like, can we win this game if we just move on to the burn plan, right? I mean, we've got 7 in hand, 8, 9 coming from the Poros. That's like pretty far away. Just the downside with this board is once we start blowing up these landmarks, it really helps everything of his pop off. He's going to start sniping our daring Poros and such. Not entirely amped about this. My idea here, we're going to let him have a little bit of this, but I'm going to just block his Endless Devout, Nox and Fervor away our own unit. Kind of unfortunate that we're so far away from getting our Scion going, but I think we can hopefully make this work. Is he at? He's on 13 summons and 2 landmarks. We might realistically be able to hold off on the Xerath for quite a while. Okay. You gotta carry the load, Daring Poro. You gotta do all the work for us today. More Poro cannons. Where does that get us? A 5 discard will flip the Scion, right? We discard Lost Soul. That gets him up to... No, it doesn't. That gets him to 25. I'm glad we stopped to check those mathematics. I think we still want to go for the Scion, but he's not going to be flipped this turn. Gonna lose a Daring Poro in the process, but he's at least a big boy here. Now the question is, well, the Xerath will just flip next turn. There's not anything we can do about that. Ew. Yeah, this is fine. We'll get the landmark. That's okay. He should. Well, that can be dangerous, I guess. If he has the landmark burn spell, he can take down our Scion right now before he's flipped. Should have probably thought this one through a little bit more. Well, he hasn't at least snapped it off. I feel like you just snap that one off if you have it. That's a super easy game ender. If you get to blow up the landmark to flip your Xerath, his ability kills the 1-cost unit, the 4 damage kills the Scion before he's flipped. All of your things flip, and then you get the Sun Disc next turn. It's a super easy play if you have it. Otherwise, he has to wait till next turn to flip his Xerath, and then we may have an opportunity. Like if Scion flips, we have a real chance to win this game. I was busy thinking about stank ass and eating food and stuff. Somebody's got to tell you though, man. You go to those conventions, and it's unfortunate when they have to like put up signs that say, "Keep your fucking stink ass in the shower." Oh, man. Alright. Let's watch this movie. I hate this so much. Okay, Glory Eternal. Witness it. Oh, our guy's dead? Oh, yeah. Alright. That was just poor play. You know? Sometimes the advice isn't in the gameplay, it's in the other stuff, and so that was meh. I'm curious how long we could have held out on that one, just trying to draw towards Decimate. It's tough. But man, I am glad to see the stuff coming back. I've seen some. I was interested in going to DreamHack, but I don't know, like at least a few years ago, I remember they used to have like Hearthstone at DreamHacks and League of Legends at DreamHacks and stuff. It looks like they aren't doing that anymore. I don't know if that's a function of COVID or if it's a function of those games just kind of like falling out of popularity. But I was, kind of interested in being able to just like go and play Magic with one of my buddies, and then, when I inevitably got knocked out of the event because I don't really play Magic anymore, I could still watch people play League or watch people play Hearthstone or whatever game. But They weren't, well, I guess like the official schedule hasn't been released yet, but it looked like they were devoting the majority of their space to CS:GO, and so I don't know if that's just a function of the times or just COVID related things. So I caught some rumblings in terms of League and them doing like worlds and having things kind of split up or whatever is going on, but it was kind of a disappointment. I've been seeing like the Star Cities coming back into action, but I don't have a super amount of desire to go to just like a strictly Magic event. All right, not entirely sure what this guy's doing. It looks like he's got like the powder kegs without Gangplank, and he has a Twisted Fate in here. So not entirely sure what we're running into, but I think this is okay. Our unit interacts favorably with his. If he wants to like trade his deckhand plus a spell for this powder keg, I'm pretty okay with that. And now we can still come out and spend all of our mana this turn. So let's get a fancier down. He did that one, what kind of felt like a preemptive Make It Rain. And so hopefully we don't have to worry about too much of those here. He could just drop a Twisted Fate on us this turn, but if he like passes, then it should be pretty obvious he's going to drop a Twisted Fate on us. And then out of those cards, he is playing a bunch of AoEs, right? And so I felt pretty okay in terms of not picking the card that makes a bunch of 5/1s. Okay, this is fine. He can Twisted Fate us and gold card the Risen Rider, but he can't red card our board. Sure.
Just run while you can.
Okay. Works for me. Get that big old fearsome chunk in there. He discards pick a card. Oh, interesting. If he wants to open on us, we can actually stop his direct attack. I was mainly interested in this turn in just like shock blasting his stuff. The fuck does Ruined Rex do? Deal 2 to a unit. Okay. I guess that's happened. All right. So I think we're okay to just take the 4. And I still want to get his Black Market Merchant off of the board. Is that how we want to do it? I mean, we can get excited, I guess. He hasn't dealt any damage to our face, but he doesn't have any mana, so he can't play any more plunders this turn. I think this is fine. We still get a cycle in the Urchin. We can play a bunch of Poros and stuff. This looks okay. I want to discard you, Lost Soul. We can wait until next turn. Let's just full bank. Like I don't think we need so much time that if we make this kind of get excited play, that it'll be too slow. Let's do this. Let's start dropping Poros now. Maybe he'll play a unit that we would prefer to play get excited on, which he did. It's kind of nice. Appreciate it. All right. So unless he's picked up one of our removal spells, we should get to chunk in for 8 damage. We've got 8 burn in hand. I did the mathematics. That's a pretty good space to be in. I don't know if you all did the mathematics, but I certainly did. 3 plus 3 plus 2 equals 8. Fucking bust bringing the math on you. Look out. Sure. Yeah, watch out. This guy could be dropping a bunch of burn spells on us. It's our baboon. Okay. His attacks look horrible. It's okay if we overbank one. Let's just go ahead and Mystic Shot. I'm going right to the face place. I'm bringing it right here. His attacks do look terrible, right? We can put like 1/1s in front of the Boom Baboon. We can make some trades. His hook with Flame Chompers isn't very good. And so I'm just going to say there is a reasonable chance that he doesn't attack and just send the Mystic Shot to face. He's bringing it, though. Sure. I mean, this does even put us in the place to where we can just drop a fancier now. I'm on board. What do you got for us? More Shock Blasts? Jesus, it's like we're playing the Jace deck, am I right? Just like playing the Jace deck. Ripperino. GG, my duder. Maybe you'll play Riptide Rex just to make things interesting. Tap out for that big unit, get to see all the flashies go on the board. Maybe. Maybe. Alright. I never lost a fair game. Got him. Okay. So man, I finished off the show Ozark. It was okay. I always have a love for the work of Jason Bateman. Dude hasn't missed in ages, and so I'm always willing to check it out. I don't know if that was his first show or first thing, whether or not show or movie that he's directed. I mean, he's been in the fucking industry since he was a teenager, and so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd done something else out there, but it was good. My only problem with it, and I won't go out there and spoil anything, is there's always this, I guess, need and desire to like one up the previous season in terms of like going big. And so if you're not familiar with the premise of the show, the dude launders money for one of the Mexican drug cartels, and then in order to continue his money laundering operation, they go to the Lake of the Ozarks, which is a kind of touristy, resorty kind of vacation destination out here in the Midwest. And so the idea is there's a lot of people spending cash on vacations, lots of hotel renovations and stuff happening. That would be a fairly prime location to launder some monies. And so, but you know, the thing that you always end up having happen with these shows that gets fairly frustrating is, you know, they did one thing, in the next season it has to be bigger, and in the next season it has to be bigger, and then the next season it has to be bigger, and then before you know it, it's like, I just refer to it as the president of the United States. That's what you actually saw in the American version of House of Cards, which is he's like a representative, and then he becomes, I don't know, like the vice president, then he becomes the president, then the lady becomes the president or something, and it's all in all pretty frustrating. And they did that a bit in this, but I feel like at least from the start, if you are laundering millions of dollars for a drug organization, then you're kind of like open and free in terms of how high you can go. And so it didn't feel like as much of a stretch there, but like House of Cards did it poorly. The show I really hated for it was the show Weeds. That was the one where the the suburban housewife is the stay at home mom, or husband is some kind of engineer. The husband dies in a car wreck or gets cancer or some shit, and so to maintain the same level of lifestyle that her kids are accustomed to, she starts selling weed to get by, and all of the various shenanigans that you get into being the local suburban weed slinger, in addition to all the various family teenage drama shit that you get into across a television show. This is like it was like so good the first like season or two, but then like once you get into it a little bit further, it's like they're digging tunnels into Mexico so that they can ship weed across the border. They're like traveling the world on a fucking RV and doing marijuana sales across the nation and stuff, and it just all gets like super fucking absurd, and they went really over the top with it. And so that's what makes me like a little bit upset. The place where it doesn't make me upset, Fast and the Furious. Those guys know how to pull it off. You got a car on the highway, okay. Let me show you something next time. You want a car on a boat? We can do it. You want a car on an airplane? Gotcha covered. Car on a submarine? We did it. Car in outer space? Fucking A. Fucking A, man. Like, what more, what more can you ask for? And so, props to those dudes. Those dudes are really tearing it up. All right, on to the action here before we get too deep into Fast and the Furious. We can get a full board this turn and chunk in a ton of damage. We're going to be throwing away Flame Chompers to ensure that we do a bunch of damage, and this is completely fine. So, do we want to get the Risen Rider down? I'm thinking like Risen Rider. No, we need to do a Sump Dredger. We need to discard out of these. And then I'm gonna surprise them with the Reborn Grenadier. It is tempting to like hang on to the Grenadier if we need like a surprise blocker, but I think we're going for the damages here. Like he's gonna help us with drawing all the cards. We can just throw cards at face at this point. Ezreal. Okay. So let's boost the Chomper. Can now take down the Icevale Archer. I assume he's going to put Ezreal in front of our 2-1, but that's how he takes maximum damage here. Falling to 4 is a pretty scary place to be. You got a Frostbite, that's okay. Realistic chance we can get a stun off on this Ezreal as well. To keep him from attacking next turn. Man, do you all remember what a cool deck this was in Expedition? When you're using the Icevale Archers and the Avarosian Marksmen and all the Frostbites to level up your Ezreals? Those were the days, am I right? Yeah, you don't get to... I guess you can still do that shit for another 2 weeks, but... What a bummer. What a bummer that the Expeditions are gone. I hope they come up with a new draft format. Do something. It's a lot of suck when the games don't have limited formats attached to them, at least in my opinion. All right, just picked up a shitload of burn. He does open with Ezreal, which is unfortunate, but I think we'll be okay here. We can play a Dredger, a Risen Rider, a Risen Rider. We'll lose one Risen Rider to the Mystic Shot, but then we're in a pretty good space to get in and open next turn. We've got 8 damage in hand. We just need to hit for 2. But in the event he drops some puff caps or something on us, it is nice to go ahead and get that out of our hand. Decimate's cool. Interesting. He knows we have Risen Rider in our hand. Okay. Just dropping all the Mystic Shots. It's only got 3 cards left in hand. This is a tough spot. I think we at least play the Sentry this turn. So much burn. I think It shuts down his blocker. It kind of answers 2 units for 1 card. And that might be enough to keep him from burning us or getting stuff on board, right? If he's playing removal spells, he's not playing units. So might be a realistically good spot here, especially if we say, how would we line this up? Kind of want to decimate this turn so that we can drop a bunch of mystic shots on top of his removal next turn. But the Fallen Rider is a scary ad, because if he has a static shock, it's just going to shut down what we're doing. Okay. Going for value blocks. It's so dangerous, my dude. So danger. There you go. I feel like Three Sisters is great. It's very expensive. Okay. That's a low health total. I think we should be fine here. We'll just go for the Decimate this turn. Nothing to get out of this. GG. Let's cupcake that one. Alright, alright. 3-1. Putting in the work, Sion. So that's it. I think that's about the end of the excitement I have. You know, take a shower, eat some food, drink some water, watch your television programs. I did. What are the things? What was this? Talia Ziggs. Sure. I don't want the mystic shots here. We just need the cheap plays. I could even see getting rid of Draven, but I think on the odd attacks, he might be okay to hang on to. Really just want to find a 2-drop though. Okay. But, oh no, like, everyone knows I love my kitties. If we got 3 kitties, kitties are the greatest. One of the things that's been a struggle is, like, we have this gigantic cat tower, cat tree, whatever they're called. It's like 3 stories tall. It's fucking spectacular. But they start to, like, tear it up. And if you just get, like, the cheapo ones, like the posts, that's fine, but you can just like throw them away as the cats fuck them up. I'm not throwing away this cat tower because it's just too big. Interesting. Against Talia Ziggs, I'm leaning towards this For Glory. They don't interact with this well. Like, I know people do play Pokey Stick. We cut the Pokey Sticks out, but like True Shot Barrage doesn't kill enough here. Weapons of the Lost. Like, the important units to kill are Talia and Ziggs, and these don't kill either. Let's pick up the For Glory. I could see that being useful. But no, I had to go and like rewrap all of the stuff, the ropes. I went to buy a new one on Amazon, and they were like $20 and $25 a piece. I was like, fuck that, I can do that. That's one of the things you pick up as you get older and you get into the home improvement aspect of things. Say, fuck no, I can do that, man. Oh, he takes, wow. We don't actually have to kill the Endless Devout. I think we're going to, because we have enough answers to the stuff in his hand, and it's going to be 2 turns before he can play Talia, but... Interesting. I expected him just to throw it away in front of Draven, and then put the Rockhopper in front of the Financier. Okay. But I did it. You know. Easy peasy. You just buy some ropes and wrap it around there. Staple it on. The kitties are happy. The wife is happy. It doesn't look like shit anymore. It sounds like a a literal win across the board. Sure. We can deal with this next turn, right? We have the Risen Rider. We're gonna have the Boom Baboon. We can burst out a Flame Chompers. Ooh, if he's adding Ancient Preps, that looks pretty good. The worst thing for us here would be as if he has the blow up the landmark, deal 4 damage. So he gets the unit off the sarcophagus and kills something. Oh, that sucks so much for you, dude. So we do have to worry about the likes of Pokey Stick here. So I'm going to discard the Flame Chompers. I'm just going to put the damage onto Draven. Don't want to put it on the Boom Baboon. We'll put it on the weakest unit frequently, but in this case we don't want to since he can pokey stick down the 1 health unit. Quicksand, sure. Pokey stick, you got it. Okay. Not bad, not bad. He can add like a Ziggs or something this turn, but I feel like we're gonna get to boom pretty hard. How do we feel about just going ahead and dropping the sentry? Like, he's pretty far away. I think this is okay. He's pretty far away from making an Absolver play. Even if he does, he's not going to kill us with it. He's pretty far away from the arsenal. And I want to get the 4 Glory on the board. We can play 4 Glory here, Sion next turn. I like this. This is also a great blocker in front of the Restored Devout. Okay. That's how you get your Sion leveled up. You just give him 10 power right off the get-go. Opponent's up to some kind of shenanigan here, right? There's another Pokey Stick, one of the cards we were worried about, but I think this is still good. Oh, you just have all the Pokey Sticks today. Alright, I guess. Gonna go ahead and drop this Mystic Shot. We're not gonna hit anything better. And next turn, I want to play Sion and attack. I don't want to go into next turn, play Sion, then be like, herder, here's my Mystic Shot now. I just want to attack as quickly as we can. Here he is. Whoa. Battle time. I could very realistically see this being one of these games to where we get excited our Sion next turn to get another attack in. But what happens if we attack with everything? He doesn't have good blocks on Draven or Sion. I think this is good to just come in and clear out his board. He's not in one of these spaces to where his board is like overly clogged. Sure.
I will run you over. Out of my way.
That's pretty good. I think we're still fine, but he's had lots of good answers to what we're bringing to the party today. Still looks good. His attacks are terrible. If he gets overly greedy with this this Sion, we have lots of good options for just like replaying our own. I haven't had the Sion plus the Sion, like the physical Sion. Can you do this? If our Sion dies, can you just play another one, or does it stay Roar the Slayer? This counts as the level 2 champion on board, right? So let's just go ahead and kill Talia. Okay. Let's go ahead and try to kill Talia. I think this is fine. His attacks are still garbage. Oh, he's bringing it, huh? Okay. So we can come in here. We take 10, that's fine, whatever. And then do we just win the game, right? That's always a reasonable question. We can get excited face. Oh no, we have to get excited our own Sion. That doesn't... we're a little bit short in that path. Okay. I'm looking at this like we can get excited, discard Flame Chompers, use Flame Chompers to hook Talia. But we have to have our Sion die. Sion doesn't die on this attack. This is fine. And another Get Excited. He should just be able to attack here, right? He doesn't have to block. Now we just kill him with Get Excited. They don't have anything to send face here. I guess he could play like a Ziggs or something, but I guess he can counterspell this with the Rite of Negation. Just got it all, huh? All right. Well, on to the next turn, I guess. We'll see. We'll see if you play 3 of these things. And a Preservarium, sure. All right, his board does stuff. Here comes a Get Excited. Rip him. All right. GG. That's good. This isn't like a superstar matchup, but this is one of the matchups we're looking to face. And when their spells like line up literally perfectly and they still lose, that feels pretty good. Now, granted, they didn't have one of the big kind of like high-powered curve draws. They did struggle there for a touch in the mid game, but to present a game to where you get like a monster quicksand and like 3 absolutely monster pokey sticks and then still lose pretty handily, that makes me feel pretty good. So like again, like this is one of the decks I expect to see a ton of. It doesn't overlap with a ton of strategies, and you see this is kind of like a good card strategy kind of deck. Like if you look at the matchups for Talia Ziggs, it's got like 1 or 2 meh matchups at top, mainly just pirates. And then if you look at like the kind of slightly off meta rankings of the decks, it just annihilates everything. And so that my problem with it though is like Maokai. Okay. My problem with Talia Ziggs though was, as we kind of found out, we were trying to play Talia Ziggs, discard Draven and Pirates. We were like running into these spots to where we weren't happy with what we had to. We weren't happy with like a lot of the aggro matchups. It was too easy for opponent to just bring like the full aggro lineup and ban our Pirates, and then really pick on Talia Ziggs. But here, I discarded the expensive guy. I feel like this is most certainly going to be a matchup with lots of aggression in it. I just wanted to go ahead and get the expensive play out of our hand. Draven should be okay here. If even, like, his angle to take down Draven here would have to be like a Frostbite, and we can handle that. Troll Chant we can't handle, but Frostbites are okay. Haunted Relic. Okay. That wasn't on my radar as cards we're playing against today. I wonder if we should have put the axe down to just try and flip Draven, if he's going to be playing a bunch of these dumb cards that are just going to autofill the board. Oh. Sion performs a similar role. Just giving Draven overwhelm. That's all we're really looking for. Okay, don't care about removals on any of this stuff. These will be some decent spinning axes, right? We can spinning axe onto the flame chompers and take down the fading icons. Interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure we want to hit for an open here. We do have the option to say, like, Get Excited the last wind, This is going to be a Vigio turn, though. Don't care about the Flame Chompers at this point. Let's give our Flame Chompers +1 attack. One of these things. Everybody else can come in. He has one good block with a 3/3 onto a 2/1, but we can Spinning Axe through. Okay. Not a lot we can do about that. It's fine. Doesn't have the Vigio, though. If he's playing the Vile Feast here, that's pretty good for us. How big are you, Sion? You're getting close, my dude. You're getting close. Need 15 power to go. Strength in numbers. Alright, we can actually cast that next turn. Alright, I'm on board. What's people's deal with Shark Chariot today? I mean, he's got to be attacking us, right? We don't have to play the strength in numbers right now, but whatever. You don't just play Shark Chariot and pass. Okay. This has to be spectacular for us. We're going to open and hook the Spirit Leech way out to the right. Don't want to be losing one of our Legion Marauders to the Spirit Leech. Dropping Vengeances. We should just win this game now, right? It doesn't even kill off our own unit. We don't need it to kill off our own unit here, but kind of crazy. All right, got him to 5. Great place to be. Well, we're getting there. We're getting real close. I'm just going to play Sion next turn. I'm not going to drop the Get Excited just yet. They play a non-zero amount of heal, we should say. So I don't want to risk running. I guess we could probably just win the game now. It would have to be Absorb Soul. Alright. I'm not playing around Absorb Soul today. Alright, GG. Oh man, I know what I forgot to mention. I'm so manly these days. As you know, and talking about my ability to rewrap cat tree poles. I bought a grill. So excited. I haven't got it all. I got it assembled. I haven't got the tank in it and got it turned on yet. I'll get to use it this weekend, but I'm so amped. It's like the one thing like in apartment living you can't have. Like sure, you can find some apartments that let you have it, but most of the ones I've lived in have been like, fuck you, no, that's a fire hazard, which makes sense. You probably don't want a bunch of like drunk 20-somethings sitting on a balcony trying to cook on a grill. And so I get it, but it's been unfortunate for me because I really like having one. Those flame-licked meats are the best ones in the world. And so I'm pretty amped to get that up and running. Have to make some more turd kebabs. It doesn't have to be a turd kebab on the grill. It could be more kebab looking than turd looking. All right, we are up against the Trundlemere ramp deck. We're getting to the space to where we have to start worrying about the 2 damage AoEs. I assume that he's just going to play like a ramp Catalyst of the Aeons here, but adding the Sump Dredger, then adding the Twin Blade Revenant lets us play around the 2 damage dealers. Okay, Not super ideal, but we're working on it. We're getting there. We go for the Revenant now? Would we rather... Can't play these 1 health units, that's too dangerous. Right. And if he Blighted Ravines this turn, we get the Doming for a ton. Can't imagine this would be a Blighted Ravine turn, but at least the Twin Blade Revenant plays a little bit around a Vile Feast. I feel like if he had a Vile Feast, he probably would have played it last turn. Unless he just drew it. Oh. Nug him. Nice. So he's down to 8. We're getting pretty close to lethals. And so what I'm going to look to do this turn, if he has another like 2 damage AoE, there's nothing we can do about it. But we can look to get Draven down, have a Spinning Axe, and then maybe we get to like Spinning Axe a Reborn Grenadier onto the board next turn. All right. This is our turn for action. We'd love to see him just play like a Trundle. I'm ultimately going to look to play the Risen Rider and then get excited something, right? He's not playing Trundle anymore. That's kind of off the table, but can get this thing out of combat. That would be good. These decks do play a bunch of shit like Withering Wail now, and so we have to play around that to a degree. Okay, we want to hook in the spider. If he wants to block this turn, we want to kill the faces of the old one. Get the ramp card off of the board. Okay. Might as well Spinning Axe, right? It gets us pretty close to lethal. Okay. I like it. Play something big and dumb that doesn't matter, right? You just, like, auto pass? Huh. Well, alright then. I'm ready to open. Don't mind me, dude. I'm just thinking about my grill. Ready. I'm ready for it. All the flavors. Okay, I think this is fine. This looks like he's trying to set up a like he's trying to set up a Three Sisters. Like go Three Sisters into a flash freeze, and then that'll get us in a space to where we can just burn him out. That's very expensive, my dude. But same idea with the Vengeance and with the Flash Freeze. I just don't want to get invested in these burn spells and then have him play Catalyst of the Aeons. Whew, alright. Not a bad run of games. About to hit up that final battle. Had a pretty successful run today. After going like 3 and 5 in the past few videos, it's nice to put up a post 500 win rate. Especially as we're jumping into seasonals. It's easy to get a little bit discouraged when you're having those win rates turn up. But it's kind of like we're having to pick and choose in like a lot of these games as to what's relevant, right? We got to play against like the ramp deck here. We got to play against Talia Ziggs. That's fine. I don't suspect we're going to be playing against a ton of haunted relics and the like, but you know, it's kind of odd in the time in the meta as to where the seasonals lock is hit. There's no like quote unquote reason to play for the next 2 weeks, and so you might as well bring out the memes. Am I right? All right, let's look for some cheaper plays. Didn't find them. I really like to start off with a 1-drop, even if it's a Poro Cannon against these decks. It's just so much of this stupid matchup, the Echo Zillion matchup, comes down to them hitting Hexite Crystals. And I really like to come out and push on the aggression before the crystals come online, right? If you have to play the cat on the first turn and then predict a few times, then you've probably hit it. But if you don't have the cat until like turn 4 or something, then you're much less likely to have that crystal when it's in the super relevant stages of the game. All right. The boomest of baboons coming in. Ready for battle. I think that's a reasonable hook. Coming off of a Station Archivist, like, there's a world where, like, I think he's probably wanting to be hitting, like, his predict cards, right? But if he hits a quicksand off of that thing and gets to take down one of our big units, it's unfortunate. And then if he hits, like, a Mystic Shot, it just doesn't change anything. He just takes the Mystic Shot and hits the Boom Baboon every time. But this does let us play around quicksand this way. Played some predict card. Sure. What was that? Scrying Sands. Cool. That would have been pretty disastrous for our Sump Dredger. Get to continue getting the big boys on board. No Echo? Alright. So we'll have a full board next turn. There shouldn't be too much that they get to come at us with. And so I'm going to play a Baboon and a Fancier this turn. Next turn we're going to play the Sump Dredger, put down the extra thing, and then we'll be ready to attack. Ain't nothing better. And I like the Shock Blast here. There's an argument to just like pick up Progress Day. Like, because the time when we're wanting to play Progress Day, we're just digging for burn spells. But I like the idea of Shock Blast here being able to kill an Echo or kill a Station Archivist and still get a couple points of damage to face. I think that's going to be quite useful. Not on this turn, but we can do this on our opponent's turn and then open. Lots of stuff on board. I must say, I dig it. Say, give me all the stuff. Okay, we'll do it like this. If he wants to block with Echo, this forces him into combat. Very real chance that we just we Nox and Fervor on the Echo, but we're getting like pretty close to lethal here. If he wants to protect his Echo, he has to block our 2/2. Let's see. He may be worth taking down anyways. We can Nox and Fervor the Fancier and then just throw it to face. This prevents the strike, and then also lets us get him to 1 where he'll be in Mystic Shot range. They do play what's it called? They do play Rite of Negations, so it's no guarantee that this works, but I really like the setup that we have here. Does that change anything now that he's blocked our bigs? So we can say throw the Flame Chompers, it would take him to 4. I think that's a little too greedy, and I don't want him playing combat tricks. So I'm just gonna let that one happen. We still have a really good board. Let's be real. It's gonna be tough for him to kill us, even if he's drawing his chrono breaks. Well, I guess he's drawing his chrono breaks. Thinking about it, bringing it. So if he attacks with the echo, I guess we do still just like we have the option to actually kill him, right? We can Nox and Fervor him away. I don't think that seems great.
We must tell our stories, lest they be forgotten.
How much does Chrono Break cost? Does it cost 3? We will die to this if he's picked up a second one. The Absolver. He can't cast any more spells this turn. Okay. The deck tracker, go. Here we are. That's fine.
This is my time.
So let's kill some stuff where we can kill stuff. Look at like this, and this. We're never getting in for an additional attack, and so let's just go ahead and commit to the burn plan. Well, I shouldn't say we're not getting in for another attack. Like, we can realistically punch in with Poros next turn for that 1 damage and then still save up to Mystic Shot. Okay. He's got 2 cards in hand, plus whatever he just predicted to. Nox and Fervor, cool. So we'll discard the Lost Soul there, just in case we want to get the unit on board. I don't think it's going to come down to that, but I want to get double Poros, and then be ready to both Nox and Fervor and Mystic Shot. I think we're pretty good here. Like, if he has a Quicksand, he can't stop us with a Rite of Negation. That's 7 mana.
Well, you had a future.
Mm-hmm. Boom it. Okay. All right, not bad. Not a bad little day at the office. I've really dug this adding in these Decimates and these Nox and Fervors. As you look at these games and think like even say like that one in particular, the thing that I was running into quite a bit of is you have these games to where you're sitting on both Captain Farron and Sion at the same time, and it's like, this guy does the same thing. I just need to play one of these on our opponent's turn and open attack the next turn. But I have this like weird ass hand of like Sion, Captain Farron, and I would rather just have literally anything else in the world. We ran into that too much. And then we ran into games, kind of similar to this. And if you think back on a lot of these games, we aren't ending these games with 0 cards on hand. We aren't saying like, man, I wish I had some more value. I really need something else here. And so I think cutting those 3 cards out, the 2 Captain Farrons and the Rummage, was quite nice. I've really been pretty happy with those exclusions. I've been pretty happy with the Nox and Fervors and the Decimates. Now, we do, again, like run into some of these games to where it's like, oh shit, I drew like 1 card and a Get Excited and a Mystic Shot and a Nox and Fervor. And those are like really abysmal, but we do have the opportunities to kind of like cycle out of it, right? We can always use one of our 6 cycle cards to discard a Scion, discard a Decimate. We did that in like 3 or 4 games today, just to really, I guess you could say the same thing about like Captain Farron. If you draw Captain Farron in your opener, you can just immediately cycle him away. But it just like flows. It feels like so much better having these burn spells and having that little bit of extra reach. And so as we play against decks like this, or like any of the Fae-based decks, or the Bandle City-based decks that just flood the board, we have a lot more of a burn package when it comes to blowing things up with the Nox and Fervor and the Decimate. And so, happy with it. You can't be too upset about a 7-1 showing on the day. And so that's going to do it. And again, if you just finished up our video as soon as it came out, head over to Twitch and turn on the Runeterra stream. If you're not going to be home today, just turn it on your computer or whatever. I don't know, whatever it takes to get that view count up. I'm not sure how that stuff works, but whatever. Juke the numbers. It's not big cheating. It's little cheating if you do that, and that's quite all right, I'm sure. But no. Again, if you care about the competitive scene, or you want there to be a competitive scene, if you don't even care about it, but you want your friends to have one, then this is a great time to jump in there and really show your support. And so, again, like Riot took away the coverage in the past, they're bringing it back for this one. It would be good to show them, hey, we appreciate it, we care, I'm here. Put an emote in the chat or something, whatever it is. And then even if you're not interested in that, they are doing some of the spoilers for the next set. I think they're talking about Jen and maybe some of the other stuff. And so that'll be in there in the middle as well. Something interesting for people to take a peek at and enjoy. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. You learned how to decimate with your Dravens a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.